Assalamualaikum and hi. In this video, we're still going to continue with week 8 part 1 Java arrays, where we're going to discuss question 5, 6 and 7. So let's start with questions 5, where it says write a Java program to perform a linear search on the array below. So we have an array here by list with the data type integer, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 elements within the array. Well, the questions also say that the search key is 5 and the program should stop and output the index. Okay, output the index. That's the keyword here upon detecting the first occurrence of the match. Okay, so let's get started by copy and paste the initializations of the array. And as usual, we will need to loop through the array. So we do for integer I equal to 0, I less than my list dot length, okay, I plus plus, okay. So let's start by just printing out the elements or each of the elements within the array, okay. So what we can do here is we just need to run the code cell. Something missing. Well, we make the same mistakes here. So you can see 92 up until 5. Okay. Well, it says the search key is 5. So I would like to kind of like declare a variable integer search key is equal to 5 here. Okay. Now it also say that the program should stop and output the index upon detecting the first occurrences. So how we can detect the first occurrences will be, we would need to put in a if statement. So if the elements, okay, within the array match with the search key, okay, then what do I need to output will be simply the index, right? System.out.println line. So what will be the index? The index will be I, okay? Because as per the requirement, we need to output the index, not the number. So in this case, if we look into this, then we know that the output or the expected output should be 0, 1, 2, 3, right? 3, the first occurrences, this 5 here. Okay, so we just need to output the index. Let's run this. Well, it's not clear here because we also print out the numbers at the same time. So if I remove that and I run it, so I will see 3 and 7. Okay, so it does not meet the requirement because it says here the program should stop and output the index upon detecting the first occurrences. First occurrences, of course, the index is 3. We know that. Okay, so in order for us to meet or fulfill the requirements, we need to add the break keyword. Okay, because if you look into the array here, you see there are 2 occurrences, right? 5, this one, and also the final one, 5. Okay, but we want to only output the first occurrences will be 3, so we need to have then a break keyword here. So if I run that, I will see 3. Okay, straightforward. Question 6, suppose a methodology stations record the temperature and humidities and store the data for the past 5 days in the table below. So we have day 1 up until day 5, we have temperature and humidity. It says write a Java program to calculate the average daily temperatures and humidity for these 5 days, okay? Well, there's a specific requirements here. The data must be stored in a 2-dimensional array. Because if we look into this table here, it can actually be stored in a single dimensional array. So here, for example, we can keep the temperature in one array and humidity in another array. But as I said, the specific requirements of these questions is to test your understanding of 2-dimensional array. So here we have these 2-dimensional array, which I have created earlier. If you notice, I have put in the comments here to indicate the temperature and humidity for day 1, day 2, up until day 5. So if we look into this, we can say that we have a 2-dimensional arrays because there are 2 square brackets here. The data type, of course, is double because we want to keep the data with decimal points. So in order for you to calculate the average temperature and humidity, we do not need to use the nested for loop, even though it is a two-dimensional array. Well, I'm going to show you how you can actually do that. So I will create a for loop for integer I equal to 0, I less than msstats here. Well, msstats stand for methodology station statistics, okay? Dot length, we know that the length is 5 in this case, I++, okay? Now, if I want to print all the temperature, what do I need to do is just to do system.out_println and as stats, okay? If you check on the comments here, you know that the only thing changed for the temperature is just the row or the first index here, right? 0 to 4 here. So what I need to do is I just do I. Square brackets here will remain the same, which is 0, okay? So if I do something like this, I would be able to print all the temperatures for all 5 days, okay? Right, you can see here. Now, if I just do a slight change where I'm going to copy this because I need to use this later on. I just do a slight change where I change this index to 1, as you can see, because all humidity is represented by 0, 1 up until 4, 1 here. So I should be able to print all the humidity, right? So I comment this out and then run this. So I get all the humidities, okay? Now, with that, I can actually do the calculations for the temperature and humidity. In order for me to find the average, I will need to first find the total, as we know. So I'm going to declare total first. So here, I'm going to have two total. One is the total for temperature. Initialize it as 0. And the second one is the total for humidity. Okay. Initialize it as 0 as well. And then what I do is I do total temperature will be equal to plus equal, okay? Just like how we calculate the total previously. And as for the total humidity, there will be total humidity plus equal msstats I1, okay? Now to do a quick check, I'm just gonna do a print here, do to print both the total temperatures and total humidity. 1, 2. Okay. So through this loop, basically, I am calculating the total temperature and total humidities. There's a problems here, typo, print line. Okay, print line. So we have 2 arrows here. Let's run this. Okay, so you can see I got the total temperatures and total humidity. So now you should know how to proceed, where I just need to calculate the average. Okay, average. Well, I just write average. AVG. Okay. Well, it just automatically complete this for me. So I just do a average. That's fine. Average humidity. That'll be equal to total temperatures, which is the one that I have, divided by, if you like, we can just do msstat.length, or you can put 5. That's totally fine. So total humidity divided by msstats.length. Okay. Well, what I need to do is just to print the average temperature and the average humidity. Okay. So the calculations is pretty straightforward. The only things that is really matter in this case is you need to understand the structures of the two-dimensional arrays. So go through this to make sure that you fully understand how we create a two-dimensional arrays to store the data from the table shown here. Now let's move on to question 7. Question 7 is kind of like a follow-up from the previous week. Well, actually I have copied the solutions for the previous week 6 here, where just have a quick recap. So we're going to run this one. Okay, what day is today? If you still remember, we say today is Saturday. And then in how many days? Let's say it's 10 days. So you get an output here. You and your friends are going to meet on Tuesday. And in order for us to do that, previously we use a switch statements. So you can see it's quite long pieces of codes here, where you have two switch statements to convert from integer to string and from string to integer. But now, since you have learned Java arrays, we can actually simplify this. Okay, so as you can see here, I have actually declared an array which store all the days here. So I have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay, and I store it in the form of strings. Okay, and if you look into this array can actually be represented with a table, which we have seen earlier, something like this. Okay, so if it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays up until Saturday, these are the string here. Whereas for the numbers here, these are actually the indexes. Okay, it's from 0 to 6. Okay, so now if we look back into my arrays here, so I have Sunday, so I know that this is the first elements in my array, so this is 0. Okay, and then Monday is 1, Tuesday is 2, and up until the end will be Saturday, which is 6. So now, instead of using a switch statements, I can basically use the index and also what I have stored within that index to do the conversions. So of course, what we need to do is first to copy paste some of the codes from the previous solutions where we ask for the user input. So we can copy and paste this here, import java.utility scanners. Okay, so ideally we will do the initializations here. Okay, after we create this kind of object. We're going to ask questions, system.out.println, what day is today's? I'm going to read that. And I'm going to read in how many days as well. Okay, so I'm going to still use this formula here without the if-else statements. Okay, and then of course I'm going to do the system.out.println here. Okay, so I'm not going to copy paste the switch statements, which I do not longer need. Okay, so now I'm not going to run it yet. I need to do some conversions here. So when the system asks what day is today, we get a string here. Okay, now of course I need to convert that string to index. So what I need to do here is we say for integer I equal to 0, I less than the days array dot length. Okay, so when I say I convert it to an integer or a numbers, it means that I'm getting the index. Okay, so for example, if the user inputs Saturday, then the index or the integer that I'm going to get will be 6, right? Because even if you look into it, this one, you know that this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so how you can do this is I'm going to create an array or create a for loop, sorry. And here, within here, I'm going to do a matching where I say if my days arrays I is equals, okay, to the user input. So what is the user input? User input be today, okay. Well, I need to put in if here, right? If days arrays I, okay, is equal to the user input today, this today here, okay. Then remember we have the today in num, right? Where previously we're going to use a switch statement. So if it's Sunday, then today in num is 0, is Monday, today is num is 1. So now we just convert that into this for loop here. So if the days array I, okay, is equal to today, okay, so for example, if my today is Saturday, this will be Saturday if my I is 6. So here I will do today in num will be equal to I. Okay. I'm going to comment out the is code first, okay, because I just want to test on the very first part here. So I'm going to do system.out.println today in num, okay. So I know that if I input Saturday, the expected output should be 6. So let's try this. What day is today? Let's say Saturday. So I get, okay, I got an arrow here. And with a semicolons, let's run it again. Saturday. So I get 6, right? So you can see here, basically what I have here, replace my switch statements here. Okay, I do no longer need a switch statements. Okay. So I have today in number, so I can proceed to ask the user in how many days you and your friends are going to meet. Then I put everything within the formula here. So from the today in num here, I'm going to put that here inside the formula, just like what we did earlier, and we calculate day to meet. And we know that the day to meet is in the form of integer, but we want to display in the form of string, day to meet string. Okay, that's why here we have another switch statements. But now we do not need that, because what we can do is we can simply replace this day to meet string with my array. So days array, okay. So what will be the index? Again, the index will be day to meet, okay. So we know that my day to meet is 2, given that today is Saturday and you and your friends are going to meet in 10 days. So 2, days array 2. Days array 2. Now, if I look back into my array here, 0, 1, 2. So that will be Tuesday. So you get exactly the same answer. So now let's try this. Try to run this. Okay, so today is Saturday. In how many days you and your friends are going to meet? That will be 10 days. Now you and your friends are going to meet on Tuesday. Okay, so you got an error here because I didn't remove these the comments. So I'm going to run this again. What day is today? Today is Saturday. You know, how many days you and your friends are going to meet in 10 days? Now you and your friends are going to meet on Tuesday. Where does this Tuesday come from? Is from the array which I have defined earlier by putting in the index. So you can see here, by using array, basically I can simplify the code, okay? Because in the previous solutions, I'm using 2 switch statements, okay, to do a conversions between integer and string. Now I just manipulate the index within my days arrays to achieve the same result. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you very much.